Hi there, my name is Steve Gerhardt, and as always, this is the Unagi Observer. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching the video this week. This week, we're going to do a review of a live-action movie made by Kurosawa. Yes, Akira Kurosawa. It is called High and Low, also known as Heaven and Hell, a kind of police kidnap drama. And there's a reason why I wanted to rewatch this movie and do a review on it, and I'm going to get to that in a moment. So why don't we just go ahead and dive in and do the review of High and Low. So, back in February of this year, Variety magazine made an announcement. Denzel Washington and the director Spike Lee are teaming together again to make another movie, their fifth movie together. If you haven't seen the movies these two have made with each other, you should take a look at it on IMDb and pick and choose a few of them and watch them because they're really, really good. They work very, very well together. So I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of interesting. I'm a bit of a cinephile, so I'm kind of looking forward to this. I wonder what they're going to do. Well, Variety told me. And they're doing a remake of Akira Kurosawa's High and Low. It's in production right now as this video is being made. And it's going to be released. It's going to have a limited global release. I actually do want to see this in the theater, but if I don't, that's okay, because it'll be on the Apple Plus streaming site, so you can see it there once it is completed. So I'm looking forward to that, and it also meant that I needed to refresh myself on High and Low. It's been a number of years since I've seen that movie. I've only seen it 2 times. First time was way back in college in a film class, and the second time was a number of years ago. So I went to my favorite and I think only video rental store in Baltimore called Beyond Video, link down below. It's one of my favorite places, and I was able to find it there, and I rented it and watched it and thoroughly enjoyed it. So let's get into the particulars of High and Low. Let's take a look at the notes here online. It is High and Low, in Japanese, Tengoku to Jigoku, Heaven to Hell, Heaven and Hell. It was released in 1963, actually March 1st, 1963. It's a couple hours long, a little over a couple hours. Again, Akira Kurosawa directs it. He is one of the 3 screenwriters. And of course, he has his muse as his leading actor, Toshiro Mifune, playing Gondo. This made about 460 million yen, so basically doubled its budget, so not too shabby in 1963. And this is based, and I didn't know this before, this is based on a crime novel written by Ed McBain, also known as Evan Hunter. Ed McBain is known for writing crime fiction, and the book that it's based off of is called King's Ransom, written in 1959. So I may be checking that book out at the library. Support your local libraries. So there's the particulars. Let's get into the plot. And it's a fun plot. I'm being sarcastic, but it's an interesting plot. As I said before, this is kind of a police procedural at one part. It's about a moral play on another issue, and it does something very, very unique for the time in terms of how Japan wants to represent itself. Kurosawa did something that was highly unusual, as he is wont to do. So let's just go ahead and get into the plot. So Mifune plays Gondo. Gondo is one of the leading executives in the National Shoe Company. So that's the fictional company that makes shoes in Japan. And it starts off with him with other board members in his home, and they're having a business discussion. And basically the business discussion is this. These board members want to oust the current CEO, the old man who founded the company, so that they can make more money by making a cheaper product more quickly and getting short-term profits. Gondo, Mifune, says, I'm not sure about this. And they're trying to sway him, because if he comes on board with them, then they have enough shares to oust the old man, the current CEO. Gondo goes, look, I'm the production manager. Let me take a look at the shoe that you're showing me that you want to make. And he completely rips it apart, like literally and figuratively. He describes why it's a shoddy product, and he doesn't want to have anything to do with it. And he believes, and he's looking at, correctly, I think, long-term financial goals of the company, which he's saying, look, we're going to make a lot of money down the road, but we need to make a quality product. We can't be making this crap. And they're like, no. We want to make money now, and this is how we're going to do it. And Gondo goes, nope, not interested. I'm not going to help you out here. And they're mad. They're like, why not? Why would you? It benefits you, blah, blah, blah. Look at the wonderful house that you live in. Your wife has never known poverty. She comes from a rich family. Are you going to make her poor and destitute with your decision? He goes, well, funny you should bring all this up. And he says, I am doing a beverage buyout of this company. I'm going to buy everything. And I have leveraged my house, all my income, everything. He's making a gamble, but he has thought this through, and basically his right-hand man is going to go to Osaka to the investor with a check for 50 million yen to get the ball rolling, so that he can get the credit to get to get the loan, to do the things, so he can beverage the buyout, so that he can be in control of the company and move forward with his goals in this company. So they are all mad at him, obviously, because now their dreams of taking over the company and making short-term profits have been dashed. His Gondo's right-hand man sees them out of his personal residence, and as he walks them to their various limousines, they all talk to his right-hand man and going, you could be one of us. You could have a seat on the board if you help us and tank this thing that he wants to do. And the right-hand man is just like, no. I've been with this guy for years. I'm going to continue being with this guy. So they're mad and they drive off. He comes back up, says, okay, they're gone now. The wife and is showing concerns about, having leveraged everything to try to do this buyout. And these two kids come in. One of them is Gondo's son. The other one is the son of Gondo's chauffeur. And they're playing cowboys and Indians or whatever. And they're taking turns wearing the costume. So, at one point, the boys in front of both parents switch costumes. The chauffeur's son decides he's going to be the sheriff, and he's going to hunt down the Gondo's son as the villain. And they go outside and play. So they continue to have this conversation of, should we be doing this? Make sure you're on the, tells his right-hand man, make sure you're on the plane to Osaka by 10 p.m. tonight so that we can get this done, because I want this done first thing in the morning. And so I want this done because they know what's happening, what's coming down the pike. And so they're kind of getting everything together. The phone rings, and one of the boys comes in. The Gondo's son comes in and runs back out. And the phone rings again. Gondo picks it up. And so you only hear what Gondo says at first, and then you hear the other voice. And the guy says, I have your son. I've kidnapped your son. If you don't give me, I think it's something like 60 million yen or something like an absurd amount of money, I'm going to kill your son, basically. And so Gondo goes, oh my God, he's just like, whatever. And then the drama starts. Gondo's son comes back in, and everyone's just looking at him and going, did anyone approach you? Did anyone come to you? He's like, no. I hid from my friend. And the chauffeur's like looking at him and goes, where's my son? Phone rings again. It's the kidnapper. He's realized that he's kidnapped the wrong kid. He's kidnapped the chauffeur's son. So then he goes on, Gondo goes on to say, okay, well, obviously I'm not going to pay your ransom. What do you want for the chauffeur's son? We'll figure this out, and, we'll get him back. And the kidnapper goes, oh no, same amount. We're still doing the same thing, but it's going to be the chauffeur's son this time. And so, I'll call you with the particulars. Click. And thus begins the morality play, because Gondo realizes that in order to save the chauffeur's son, all the money that he's leveraged for this buyout, everything, his whole life is on the line. Everything, if he loses this money, he becomes destitute, right? And the chauffeur is looking at him just going, please save my son, please save my son. So the first part of the movie is about how Gondo reacts to this situation. And he doesn't make himself look good at the beginning, I gotta tell you. So we go through, it's about Gondo going through this. The police show up, and they're all trying to get the basically the best outcome possible, which is to save the kid. And then the second act of the play, or the second third of the movie, is them trying to get the chauffeur's son back. The last part of the movie is actually trying to get the kidnapper. I'm not going to spoil plot points here. So this is what it is, and it goes into murder, it goes into drug use, which is kind of interesting, which I'm going to touch on in a moment. And it's interesting how, people react when they realize that there's somebody's life on the line, like literal life on the line, and then there's your life on the line, your figurative life. You're used to comfort and all this stuff, and that's about to go away if you decide to save this other person's life. So and it's kind of interesting because in the first 2/3 of the movie, there's not a whole lot of actual physical action. It's a lot of moving around within the residence, talking, being angry, trying to figure things out, and trying to get the best outcome possible without losing as little as possible, and just having avenue after avenue after avenue being shut down to you. So Gondo's going through this process. Now, the interesting thing about this movie is that once you get to the more, towards the end where you're going after the kidnapper, it becomes more actiony. There's a lot of interesting filming angles and things like that, filmography. Like, for example, they actually, in real speed, are actually to make a scene shot from a train going over a trestle backwards. It's a very interesting thing. So, if you get nothing else out of this movie, you should get that. But Kurosawa does something that is not usually done at that time. And what he's doing is he's talking about heroin, and he's talking about drug use in Japan. We all know that at a certain point in Japan, they don't like to make themselves look bad. They don't want to lose face, whatever it is. They don't really want to say, oh yeah, we have this problem over here. Even though it is a very enclosed problem. Drug use is not as big of a problem over there as it is here, right? There's a lot of things that they're not dealing with their drug use problems that we are in America. But this is 1963, and they don't want to show the world that they have any weakness like this. So for Kurosawa to come out and say, well, part of what's happening here is because of drug use, and I want to call attention to how heroin is destroying lives. And in the last third of the movie, you get a lot of that. And it's very unique because it's not something you normally see. Yes, there are gangster movies. Yes, there are police procedural movies in Japan at this time. Yes, there are Yakuza movies. Yes, they talk about crime and things like that. But you don't really see things about drugs, about drug use, particularly heroin, which at this time was kind of the drug du jour, so to speak. So it's a very, very interesting way how he handled it. In some cases, is a little over the top because, it's quite clear that he doesn't know anybody who's been on heroin, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But it's still just kind of that idea of, hey, here's a problem. We need to pay attention to it. And that's kind of what Kurosawa does in a lot of his movies. So, yes, I've already said this before, but I'll say it again. Should you watch this movie? Absolutely. Especially if we are going to watch the remake by Spike Lee and Denzel Washington, two very much a quality director and a quality actor. So I am very much looking forward to this remake, and I really want it to do well. But watch this movie. definitely watch this movie. If you are a Kurosawa fan to begin with, these are not his samurai movies, obviously. These are his more contemporary movies. So just where he talks about, kind of like corporate corruption, again, drug use, things of that nature, and puts in a lot of morality plays in there. So just keep in mind that this is that kind of aspect of his cinematography, and which is usually pretty good. Like if you've if you want to watch a movie about really good movie about corporate corruption, which is very much a nod towards Hamlet, watch the Bad Sleep Well. And this has tones of that. High and Low has tones of that. So yes, very much, please watch this movie. Okay, so that's it for this week. I do hope that you watch High and Low by Akira Kurosawa. It's a very, very good movie, and it should be part of your bucket list of movies to watch. So please go out there and watch it. For those of you who are still interested in the dying breed, the almost dead breed of video stores, please follow the link to Beyond Video down below. That's my video rental store that I go to, and I love it very much. And so, as you know, I will be doing cyberpunk reviews of anime movies, live action cyberpunk movies as well, and over this season. And we're going to start that off. We're going to kick that off with a general discussion of cyberpunk in anime next week. A short little thing just to get us going. All right, so that's going to be it for this week, which means that you guys gotta stay good, gotta stay well, because I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.